Hello. We are on a trip in New York right now. On this trip, while we're in New York City, the thing I'm most excited to do here is to go to all of the New York bookstores. New York is definitely known in the book world for having some of the best bookstores in the world. Maybe that's dramatic. In the States anyways. So we're gonna be going and ranking the bookstores of New York. I have been purchasing a book from every bookstore we're going to just to get the full experience, to see what the customer service is like, to see what the full scope of the vibe is, right? I want to get the full experience at these bookstores. So, and there's a lot of books that I wanted to add to my TBR. I haven't done a whole lot of book shopping this year, so why not? We're on a fun trip. I've been using some gift cards that I've had as well. But yeah, so we started at the Barnes & Noble in Midtown. At that first Barnes & Noble, I decided to get the Vanishing Half by Bennett. This is actually something that's been on my mental TBR for a little while. And then I made a TikTok where I was talking about influence or de-influence my physical TBR, or not my physical, my mental TBR. And this was one of the books on it, and people went crazy for this book. People were obsessed with it. Yeah, so I picked this book up. That Barnes & Noble had 3 levels. It was very well organized. It was a little busy when we went. It was a great Barnes & Noble. I like the difference in floors because it kind of gets to separate the genres of books that you have there. And plus, I got this book while we were there because they only have the hardcover and they have the paperback, so it was a great opportunity to get this. And the customer service, they were so kind at that Barnes. I mean, 10 out of 10 customer service. She was fantastic. Then we went to the Barnes & Noble in Union Square. This wasn't meant to be a part of the exploration. However, when we got off the subway, it was smack dab staring us in the face, so we did in fact have to go there. That Barnes, 5 stars. 6 stars, I don't know. I loved that Barnes. What was it, 4 or 5 floors? Very organized. The first floor was a lot of fantasy, new releases, popular releases. Second floor was kids, so we didn't spend too much time there. Third floor was where the cafe was and a lot of nonfiction stuff. So Brian spent a lot of time on that floor.
Sports books in one section I've ever seen like that.
And then the next floor, that was the romance. Was that where I was?
Yes.
It was either the 4th or 5th floor. Were there even 5 floors? Maybe it was just 4. I think the top level though, whatever number that was, that had the romance section. And so I did spend quite a bit of time up there. There was like original copies, original versions, original covers of the Throne of Glass series. Unfortunately, it was not in English, so I didn't see why I should be purchasing that for any reason. I'm not gonna reread the books, but I am obsessed with those covers. While I was there, I grabbed this book first. This is Head Witch in Charge by Avery Flynn. This is a witchy fall romance. I grabbed this because number one, it looks cute. This will be a fun romance palette cleanser to be reading during the upcoming fall season. And then I opened up the dedication to all the responsible for everything eldest daughters and those who act as the responsible for everything eldest daughters, even if they aren't technically the oldest out there. We appreciate your service. I'm an eldest daughter, so that really hooked me. The only thing that was crazy is I had already grabbed this. So I was leaving with this. I'm probably not going all the way upstairs to put this back. Like, I'm back down on the first floor, and I did flip to a page and I just saw a hard dick. So I'm not exactly sure what I got myself involved in picking up this book, but I mean, we'll find out. I actually haven't seen anything about this before. It looks like a little like enemies to lovers fall romance, witchy romance, so that'll be fun. But then I saw this book downstairs, Gifted and Talented by Olivie Blake, and I was like, I really actually want to get this instead. And so I grabbed this thinking I was perhaps possibly gonna go all the way upstairs and return that, but then I was like, let me just get both, right? Honestly, I don't know too much about this, but I know Olivie Blake is a new favorite author, a new favorite writing style. I just finished reading Alone with You in the Ether, and I had the best time. Okay, this is also a piece of what hooked me. Right at the end of describing the little book description, it says, on the pipeline from gifted kid to clinically depressed adult, nobody wins, but which Wren will come up on top. So it's talking about all the different siblings. It was just something that felt like it touched my brain, touched my soul like just a little bit. So I had to pick this up, and I'm very excited for this. I will probably also be reading this soon. Then we went to the Strand. I've heard about the Strand over and over again. I've seen other BookTok girlies go to the Strand. This and the Ripped Bodice were two places that I was very excited to come to in New York. I loved the Strand. It was massive. I guess it is actually 18 miles worth of books. They have it on all of their merch there. That's 18 miles worth of books, but there are just shelves and shelves and shelves, and it's so interesting when you're in the beginning of the store. It's very loud, very busy. The deeper and deeper you go into the bookshelves, it feels like you're going into a soundproof room because it gets so quiet, but it was beautiful in there. They literally have so much stuff. I'd have to do a little bit of research. It seems like they have a lot of secondhand books too, or maybe they just have a lot of people that buy books and then return them. The Strand is my favorite one that we've probably been to so far, and it is a lot of books, but it is very well organized. There are signs pointing to fiction, to romance, to horror, to nonfiction.
Their rainbow section was cool.
They have behind the cash register, they have a whole rainbow wall, which was gorgeous. Yeah, and then like upstairs was kids. I was either gonna get If We Were Villains or Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but Taylor Jenkins Reid, because they were on this table that was the best of the best. So I gave them to Brian to read the description, and he told me to go ahead and get Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have not read a book by her before, so this will be my first. I know it's about a girl who goes to NASA. I know people are obsessed with this. There's a blurb by Kristen Hanna, who I love some of her work. Very excited about that. It's a cute book too underneath.
Ooh.
Love a two-tone. Also got a tote bag.
Yeah, the tote bag's sick.
And then lastly, today we went to Rizzoli. This is like a bougie bookstore.
Yeah, that was cool.
It is beautiful in there. The ceilings are gorgeous. There is a smaller selection there, but it was beautiful. They had a lot of new releases. They had a lot of New York specific books right in the front when you first walk in. While we were there, I got The Ministry of Time. This is just a book I've been wanting to read for a little while. I saw Haley Pham read and love it, and then a bunch of other BookTokers and booktubers read and love this. I saw Summer Sisters by Judy Blume, and I thought about picking that up, but again, when I got indecisive, I'm only getting one book from every bookstore, so like we're not, well, okay, I bent the rules one time, so I grabbed this and Summer Sisters, and I let Brian pick, and he picked this. He said he read the first line.
Yeah, read that first line. That is sweet.
In the near future, a civil servant begins work on a highly confidential project. A government ministry is gathering expats from across history to discover whether time travel is feasible for the human body, but also...
like, that's like, come on. Like, I would read that.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about this book?
People are rating this 5 stars. Emily Henry said electric. I loved every second.
The author's so cool.
Right? You get a cutie little bookmark with your purchase. Love that. Extra points for that. We made it to our 5th and final bookstore of this trip of this city. And that was the Ripped Bodice. The Ripped Bodice of Brooklyn. Oh my goodness. It was 10 out of 10. 6 stars out of all the 5 stars. I couldn't have asked for anything more in a bookstore. Of course, it's a romance only bookstore. They had some, like a little section in the back of things that were more like subplotty of romance, but then they had it broken off into sections: contemporary, YA, erotica, like mafia.
That was badass.
Fantasy and sci-fi. They had the candles, they had the blind dates with a book, they had the cute little photo op areas. I loved it. Brian said it was the best one we went to
it wasn't even close. It was just like a perfect setup.
Yeah, it was great. And so we made some purchases there. And you know what I love about that place too is it feels like a judgment-free zone. You could have purchased any book in there, and the lady at the cash register would have had something good to say. She had something good to say about my purchase, the person who checked out before us, and they're just happy to be there. One of the girls was reading a book at the cash register. Like, great location, a lot of little cafes and shops right around it. Obviously we got a t-shirt. Listen, the Ripped Bodice, the main thing I was excited for to go on this trip was I know I'm going to the Ripped Bodice. A romance bookstore, extra large for comfort. How stinking cute. Everything I bought there too was like pink. So it was a really cute stack that I ended up with. The book I wanted to get there for sure was By a Thread by Lucy Score. I have not read a Lucy Score book in my reading journey, so this will be the first, but this is just so nostalgic to my entering the romance side of reading. That time of my reading era, it's so nostalgic of that because this was really popular then. There was BookTokers and BookTubers reading it then, and so like this cover just does something to my brain, does something for me for that nostalgia feeling. So what better place than to buy it at a romance only bookstore? And the lady at the cash register said she really loved this read, and she really likes the Things We Never Got Over series by Lucy Score, because I mentioned I hadn't read a Lucy Score book thus far. So I got this, and then I also got Wait For It by Mariana Zapata. I have also not read a Mariana Zapata book. She is known for her slow burn romances, and honestly that's really all I know about it. That's actually the only thing I know about it. I just know that Wait For It and Culty are some of her more popular reads. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me Too. I just really liked this cover in comparison to the other ones, and it matched my book stack of the pink vibe going on, and it matched the vibe for the whole day. So honestly, that's why I picked this. So this is our whole stack. And a big t-shirt.
Great work in there.
How cute.
I'd go back.
I'd go back literally right this second. I'd go back right this second.
Just feels so cozy, and I felt like I could have sat down and started reading a book in there.
Yeah. I think my final ranking for the New York bookstores that we've been to. So to recap,
Start at 5 and go to 1.
We've been to 5 bookstores. We'll start at number 5, probably the Midtown Barnes & Noble. I mean, it was a fantastic time, a great setup, very organized. People working there were wonderful. Yeah, nothing wrong. It had a lot to compete with. Then number 4, we're gonna put the Rizzoli. Just a small selection, but beautiful. But nothing about it really stood out to me other than you could get really cute pictures in there probably. But great surrounding area as well for the Rizzoli. Cute cafes, different shops, coffees, a lot to do in that area. Number 3. Now from 3 and up, these are all 5 stars and above. These were perfect experiences, and these would be the bookstores I would go to if I lived here. We'll probably put number 3, the Barnes & Noble. That is the Union Square Barnes & Noble. Again, Union Square, great area, a bunch of cute little shops, cafes, places to eat, places to do. I really loved that Barnes.
Yeah, and the outside of it's sick.
The outside is gorgeous. It was busy, but it's so big that it's comfortable that it was busy. I would say the Rizzoli and the other Barnes, once it was getting busy, it was a bit like uncomfortable, a little claustrophobic in there. Then we'll put number 2, we'll put the Strand. The selection was nuts. The amount of books there
18 miles.
18 miles worth of books is insanity. Cute merch. And then coming in number 1, the Ripped Bodice. But I mean, I think we knew that before I even went to any of these places.
The hype lived up to it.
The hype lived up to it. It was everything and more from what I've seen.
I started laughing when you had books in your hand. I looked to my right, and everyone else just had stuff in their hands. Like,
yeah, everybody was there to shop.
If you go in there, you're leaving with something, which is like very impressive for a bookstore to say that.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this video. If you go to New York, it is definitely worth your time to go into these bookstores. We came here with no plan in mind, and we got to do a lot of the things that we wanted to do on top of doing exactly what I wanted to do. And yeah, this is a great time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more book content, and we'll see you in the next one.